So, why is asset drop like a Christmas payday? Because there's a long wait till January.
Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys, so welcome to my third asset drop review. As you can see, there's two boxes this month. They've introduced a new asset drop. The old one has been renamed, as you can see, Discovery Core Supplies. So this still remains a box full of paints. I am definitely going to do this one as a live unboxing. Recorded as live. What I'm going to do, if you're watching this video, I suppose we could call it a bonus. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little black screen for about a second so that I can cut it, and then I'm going to carry on with the second drop, which is the Great Paints Heroines. This is a new monthly one, which I'll talk about this later on, but the reason for the black cut will be I'm actually going to make two videos, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it at the black screen, and then I'm going to release another video just purely about the Heroines. So obviously you will get that in this video, but then if somebody else perhaps wants to watch the Heroines, they'll get just the Heroines. So saying goodbye to the Heroines box just for a moment, and we're going to open this up. So here goes. Now the last 2 months, what I've got is I've got 3 paints that work together. For example, last month, I think it was last month, we got the 3 marine colours. I've got 2 of them on my painting table at the moment because I've been using them. I think it was marine 1, 3 and 4. And then you'll get 2 more paints that will also work together. For example, 1 month we got the old brass and the brass, and then we'll get 2 more items that will work together. So you effectively get 3 components. The last couple of months it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 products, and then you'll usually get something to help you with it, such as last month was a toothpick. Last month, sorry, was also you got these lovely dropper bottles, which I think they're brilliant. I feel awful about my last review of an 8.5. However, my review is based on the unboxing at the time. Now, first thing I notice is this is rather heavy. I haven't weighed any of the previous drops, but this one feels heavy, and it's certainly heavier than the Heroines. Obviously I know that there's a figure or 2 or something in here, so obviously that'll probably come in a box, and paint I know is heavier than plastic figures, but it does, maybe it's just a comparison, but it does feel quite weighty. So if this is the way that Asset Drop has gone, remember Asset Drop is still quite a young company. I mean, they must be working at least a month ahead of themselves. So when they were dropping once they had the 3rd drop, they must have already been working on the 4th month. So, and obviously if we go back in time, they were only a month old, or a few days old as far as we're concerned, when they were working on the 2nd box. So maybe, obviously their notoriety is growing. I mean, I know if I was a company and I wanted my products to be promoted in this way, I would want to make sure the company is a good company. So if they came to me and said, can we feature some of your products, I would probably I'd probably turn around and say, give it a couple of months, let's see how it goes. So maybe that's where they're growing. But let's not waste any more time. Let's have a look. Dun, 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 dun. You know I love these boxes. You know I love to build suspense up. So here is the box. Here is the guide. Now, big question: do I look at the items first, or do I look at the the guide first, because remember I did misinterpret what was in the box before looking at the guide last time, a couple of months ago. I'm gonna leave the guide to one side. So let's unveil the paper. Do you know, this is just the same sort of paper you would get as though if someone had bought me a diamond necklace. This is the kind of paper I'd expect it to be wrapped in. So where's the sweeties? No sweeties. Oh, there's the sweeties. God, I don't care about anything else other than the sweeties. So today I've got Softies orange flavour candy sticks. Now these look like these chewy sweets that I used to love buying. Do you know, they never let me down on the sweeties. And a Vimto lolly. Everyone loves a lolly, and it's Vimto. So the first thing, sorry, I sweets. You know, maybe someone should do a monthly sweetie box. No, because then I'd expect them every month, and I'd expect a good quality, because I don't pay for those sweets, so they're a bonus. Right, so Precision Ice and Snow Instruction Manual. Right, I'm not going to open this just yet, because I'm assuming that this is going to go with one of the items that's in the box. Oh, do you know what? This is another brand that I've heard of that is meant to be very good. And asset drop. Do you know, I could stop the video here and say, you've not let me down. Scale colour. I mean, I've not used these yet. Then scale set. Right, I'm going to completely change the subject. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to come back in a second. Hello guys, right, my apologies for that. Now, this is the big coincidence. I've started to use Twitch, and I've started to see other Twitchers, and there was a really good painter, and sorry, I'm just checking my levels. Sorry, I'm going to stop the video again. I'm just going to play back just to make sure everything's working. Yeah, everything's working fine. Right, so I was watching this painter, and he recommended this book, which I went out and bought, and it arrived yesterday. And this is the book, Easy Painting Processes with Scale Colour Paints. Now, it's a bit of a Bible. I've just picked a page at random, look, and it goes through how to paint various things. So this is how to paint sky and ice. This is another random page, Red Creatures from Hell. And I've not really had a good chance to look at it, but the skimming through that I've done, it looks brilliant. And then I saw a review of these paints from a chappie called Spiky Bits, and he says they're absolutely wonderful. And then in the back, I say it is a little bit of an advert for their company as well, but there's their range of paints. And I was just saying to myself last night, oh, I'm gonna give them a try. And I was actually looking at my favourite retailer, and they do stock them. They're about £3.50, £4 a pot. And I look, an asset drop. You've given me 3. You must be reading my mind every week, every month, because this is actually what I genuinely wanted to try out this month. So I'm going to be honest with you, with the sweeties and the 3 scale colours. Oh, obviously I'm not getting my money worth just with these, but these are fantastic. So I'm looking forward to trying those out. I'm going to go for these. Now these look like paints. Coat d'armes. Now, if you remember in another video, we got some pigments. Now I will confess I've not tried the pigments out yet, which is something that's going to change this month. I'm actually going to be releasing some videos actually using these products, so there'll be one a week. But now the coat d'armes, the brushes I bought, and I found them very good. And I've actually hunted down quite a lot of reviews of the pigments, and they're very good. So I'm very optimistic. So we have, obviously there's some kind of theme going on here. We've got sun yellow, golden yellow, and a horse tone bay. I mean, that must be for painting orange, I guess. So you got your highlights and your lowlights. Again, I've not looked at the books. Now, Cote d'Arms, aren't they the people that did the original Citadel paints? Hence the pots. Not over keen on this kind of dropper, kind of bottle. However, I'm just going to try them in my new paint. No, I won't try them in the new paint rack holder. But yeah, these apparently are better. I think someone said these old Citadels are better than the new ones, and the new Citadels are very, very good. So this is another range that I'd like to have tried, because you get the original Citadel colours, which people argue are better. So yeah, these I'm going to look forward to trying, and we'll go through the book. And our third product, or third thing, we've got Ice and Snow Wash, and that's not water, I suspect, because it's got a blue tinge to it. I know water has a blue tinge, but I'm going to guess that maybe that's some water effects, water and snow. I know someone who would actually love this. And then this obviously looks like some kind of, this is either icing sugar, so I can put that on the buns, or it's some kind of snow effect. So this is already looking very close to a 10 out of 10 box. Not only is it 3 items that I've never used before, it's actually 3 items that I coincidentally admit something I'm in the market for. Now obviously these are leathery colours, so I can use these on my corn, so I think I will use these on my corn. The yellows, I will find somewhere to paint it, to use these, maybe my Orc Blood Bowl team. Remember, we've still got the Heroine box to unload. Unload? Sorry, I'm too much being a bus driver. Unpack. So these might work with the ones that come in. And snow bases in with chaos, you just know that's going to work. So let me get rid of the box, and of course you actually get a lovely box. I've recently moved house. Well, I've moved out and then moved back in again, and let me tell you something about this asset drop box. I bought myself as a Christmas present one of the big sets for Vallejo's, and I had them all out on the table and I needed to move them, and you see that they go in there very nicely. Now they are slight, I mean this isn't designed to put Vallejo's in, but they actually go in quite nice. You can just chuck a load of stuff in there and it'll just roughly close, and yeah, it's very versatile box. As you'll know from a lot of my videos, I'm all about the recycling and using stuff for cheap. And let's not forget, you also get your monthly Donald Trump wig. So there we go. So let's have a look at the guide, which as always is fantastic quality. I'm going to be honest with you. If I say positive things about something, I always try to look at something, I won't say negative, but something not so favourable, just to try and readdress the balance. But I've got to be honest with you, this month I can't find anything. So, scale colour, brown leather, Irocco and intense chestnut. Oh, it's an ink. Is it an ink? Yes, it's must be an ink. Yeah, it is, because it's ink tents. Now again, I've heard about these ink tensors, and apparently they are the biz. So there's Irocco, so I'm going to guess that's the highlight and that's the base color. Let me just move that down a bit. Right, so and they retail at $2.75 to $3.50 each, which actually isn't. I mean, I got told they're expensive, and if you buy the sets, they are expensive. But don't forget, when you buy the sets, you get that aluminium case. Now they're not going to give you that for free, but I got to be honest with you, they're not too expensive. $2.75. A pot of Citadel is what, $2.55. The trouble is, I buy my paints now from an independent store, so they tend to be a little bit cheaper than retail. So if I tell you a price that's too cheap, forgive me. The Vallejo's are about £2. Now, alright, these are more than the Vallejo's, but over the course of, I mean, how long do one of these use? I mean, my corn red, I've been painting 3 years, and I've got half a pot of my second corn red. So even if you put a price per usage, it's, you know, price per day, it's not an awful lot. And I actually think these are about, I don't know. And of course, let's not forget that because I'm a member of Asset Drop, I get both. Don't forget, join Asset Drop. There is a link in the description. Use it. So Scale Colour paints produced by Scale 75 from Spain, a high quality, heavily pigmented paints. Blah 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 blah. I'll go through the bit later on. So then we've got the 3 Cote d'Armes, and these retail at £2. Now they're very cheap. If the reviews are correct, I think they should raise their prices, because at £2 retail price, you could be tempted for saying, oh, they're cheap and nasty, like the craft paints. Oh, I won't use them because they're cheap and nasty. So maybe they should consider raising their prices. Maybe you disagree with me. Do you find if something's too cheap you won't buy it? Right, so what have we got with the third bit? We've got the snow powder, so it's not icing sugar to put on your buns. If you ever, they do a tin of cinnamon rolls. These people don't do cinnamon rolls, but in the supermarket, in England anyway, you can buy cinnamon rolls, and you open the tin up, and then you cut. It comes with a roll of dough with pasty stuff in, but it comes with a tub of icing sugar, which you just add water. The tub is exactly the same. That's why I thought of icing sugar. Ice and snow adhesive, so that must be this one. I knew it wasn't water because it's got the consistency of water, but it's got a blue tinge, which suggests it's got something in it. So obviously it's got some kind of sticky stuff to it. And the snow wash. Now I'm intrigued. Why do you need to wash snow? Maybe it's like a PVA glue which seals it in. I don't know. We'll have a look. So wood and leather. I think we saw that one coming because we've got brownie colours and one of them's called brown leather. So I think we saw leather coming on this one. Creating wood and leather effects is one of those painting techniques that's very enjoyable to master. I would agree with that. And there's different colours of leather. Right, important. All Scale 75 paints come sealed at the nib. Don't replicate my initial experience with Scale Colour and attempt to brute force the paint out. It doesn't end well. Do you know what? There was something that I had and it didn't have. I'm going to have a look. Got to have a look. Yes. You can see in there's a little bit of plastic. Yeah. Yeah, I had something that had a seal there. You know, like when you buy ketchup bottles, they have a seal. In fact, I think it was ketchup. I flipped the lid, went to put ketchup on my chips or whatever, and it just wouldn't come out and wouldn't come out. And I said to some woman, I said, I can't do this, and they said, oh yeah, you just take the cap off. I felt daft. So Precision Ice and Snow, another amazing company from the UK dedicated to producing realistic snow and ice. They produce the best snow wash I've ever used. Well, I'll take that because Andy's job is to try new things out. Sorry, I was reading the wrong page. Right, so painting leather. So prime with a zenithal highlight, which by coincidence I did do a video on zenithal highlighting. Zenithal highlighting is something I got into a few years ago and I've never looked back. I couldn't echo that statement anymore. It's brilliant. It does take more prep time, but it's definitely worth it. And to be honest with you, more prep time isn't a problem. You look at a lot of trades, they do put an awful lot of prep, and you have to. One of the examples I've used before is if you're painting a door, you've got to sand it down, you've got to give it a nice smooth finish. If you don't sand it down beforehand, the paint's not going to sit level. You've then got to put an undercoat on, you've then got to put a nice layer of paint on, you know, and everything affects everything above. What if you can't zenithal highlight? If you'd rather not base your miniatures in this way, you can get a similar effect by priming your miniature in white, then washing it with a black or grey wash and dry brushing on white again. Okay, that would work. I personally would do it a different way. I've always gone the opposite way, which is priming black and then dry brushing grey, then white. But I personally use an airbrush now. So that's an idea for a future video. So I'll do a video on priming in the zenithal highlighting in that way. In fact, it might even turn out better. Never know. Try these things. So undershading to add texture, and then dry brushing. So stippling the wood. So I'll go through some of these techniques in a future video. Adding the wash, preserving the damage, making it pop. It's always about making the pop. And then there's another method of painting wood. And then there we go. Do you know what? I've just realised I've got some trees. I'm actually struggling over a base for what am I working on at the moment. I'm working on some skull crushers, and I was really torn with ideas of bases, and I think it's really literally a case of asset drop to the rescue. Yeah, so I'm going to do wood and snow bases. So we've got, I knew it'd be painting yellow. Now painting yellow. Yellow is famous for being difficult to paint. It doesn't always cover well, and it's not easy to produce a rich vibrant colour, a yellow. It's tricky to shade without changing the colour too much, and it's tricky to highlight, because what do you highlight a yellow with? Once you've got to the brightest yellow, where do you go and how do you make your yellow brighter? If they don't produce a paint, normally if they don't produce the paint colour that you want, you mix it. But to make yellow lighter, sorry, you use white, which then you run the risk of it being pastely, which you don't want. Excuse me, I'm having a coffee while I do this. So priming for your base, mix 1:1 horse tone golden yellow, then thin down with 2 drops of water. I will put this through the paces, because the great thing now is with me reorganizing my channel and having two different asset drops, I can do a review video on these products, so I can do one a week, which will take me to the end of the month, but I can put them through my paces. And there's another YouTuber, what he likes to do is try to use things in the wrong way to produce a different effect. So these are all things that I can do. So then it goes through the precision ice and snow, how to use it. Paint the adhesive onto the base with a paintbrush, then use a spoon to scoop out the snow powder, sprinkle the snow onto the base, leave for 5 minutes before tapping off the excess. Then build it up, piles of snow and snow wash. This is awesome and so easy to use. It paints on transparent and you think nothing is going to happen, but it dries white and powdery. It takes 20 minutes to dry. Then you can keep adding more layers to reach the desired effect. I'm definitely going to give that a go. And then they go on about the Blue Marine Foundation. In case you didn't know, 5% of the profits go to Blue Marine Foundation. While it's not a charity that I actively support, it's a charity that I can agree with. You know, as he says here, the oceans are an essential part of this world, housing much of our food, providing 70% of our oxygen. I mean, think about it. Maybe you don't eat fish, but there's plenty of animals that we would eat that do rely on the fish, and sometimes it's an indirect thing. All the animals in the world have something. They're all a small cog. You know, in beavers they build dams prevent the flooding, you know, and then they provide an ecosystem for perhaps something that we do eat. So yeah, it is all stability. I remember reading a story about, I think it was somewhere in America, they reintroduced wolves back into this part of the America, and what they didn't bank on was it completely restored the entire ecosystem. For example, animals that were previously hunted, or that were now hunted by the wolves, because there were less wolves before, they were running in abundance. Because there's too much of them, it was destroying the environment. The wolves kept the numbers down, and you know, obviously everything could thrive. So I don't give a 10 out of 10 rating, because I always believe, if you go back 2 months, I could have given the first acid drop, the November drop, I could have quite easily given that a 10, and I think I'm not taking anything away from the previous acid drops, but for me personally, if I gave this a 10, having given the previous one a 10, it wouldn't give it justice. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, which is a maximum. That would be a, if it was TripAdvisor, I would give a 5-star rating, because I mean that you can, I don't think this could have been any better. For what's going through my mind this month, I know it is a little bit coincidence, but I've now got 3 more items that I've never used before. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. Shall I have a quick look through the instruction manual? And is it good when you get an instruction manual? I mean, look at the size of this. So, tells you how to use it. You can obviously, oh look, you can airbrush it. That's going to be handy for some people. I am literally going to flick. How to make a snowfall. Why have I never thought of that? So we could, in theory, base my skull crushers and then add the effects onto the top to make it look like they're marching through the snow. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh look. I mean, you could probably do that with other products. Yeah, I mean, I always say that doing something is probably 40% the product. Oh, look at that! You've got to see that. That's an old. I mean, we don't have them anymore, but that's a pound coin. Just let me. As I say, we don't have the old pound coins anymore, but those pound coins were slightly bigger than this, which is a new pound coin. It's, if you added about 1 millimeter to the new pound coin, that's roughly the size of that. So there you go. For those of you that don't live in the UK, there's a size comparison, and there's a size comparison. I've not got big fingers, but you can see it's the new pound coin is about the width of my thumb, which I would class my thumbs as medium. In fact, I tell you what, here's an even better. Right, everybody knows the width of a Vallejo bottle. So, and then if we put the Vallejo bottle on top, So a pound coin is about the width of a Vallejo bottle. So that coin there will be slightly bigger. Yeah, that is definitely an older pound coin. I say they went out of circulation in October. But to give you an idea of the scale, that's roughly the size. So guys, I've got no option but to give this a 9 rating. There's no argument there. Other people, I mean, obviously the ratings are, I mean, that's brilliant. Sorry, I'm just going to stop because I am actually genuinely in awe. Right, so you're going to get a black screen for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then suddenly and magically another box is going to appear. So this is the new Heroines box. Now I did say on my first review video, excuse me, sorry, mouthful of coffee again. I did say on my first review box that I did that I'm really not interested. I've seen other boxes available because you know, I just realised I should have started from the beginning. Never mind. Basically, my situation 3 months ago, I used to move around, so I don't really have time for decorations. I saw one of these surprise boxes from a completely different company, nothing to do with painting, and this one was themed with Star Trek. And you got a pair of socks, which is obviously useful. Everyone can wear black socks. You got an air freshener, most useful if you've got a car. A pin button. Yeah, okay, fine. I use a bag for work. And then you got a sticker. Well, what am I going to do with a sticker? So you're always going to get elements of crap, as I call it. So these boxes where you get paints and figures didn't really interest me, because essentially what am I going to do with a lone figure that doesn't go with anything, doesn't go with any game system? Hello guys. So I had to do a retake on that because I muted my microphone and I forgot to unmute it, so I feel very stupid, but thankfully I hadn't got as far as actually opening the box, so I've got to remember what I said before and say it again. So some of you, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that one of the things that I said 2-3 months ago was these boxes that you get non-paints, I can only regard them as crap. I'm not saying that they're useless. The figures on them, some of them look wonderful, but you get the odd figure for, I don't know, some obscure game that you've never heard of, and you've got no intention of buying the game, and you're just stuck with this one figure, which is essentially decoration. You often, with these mixed bag boxes, you often get a mix. I watched a YouTube video yesterday on I think it was a loot box or loot or a geek or something, and it was actually themed around Star Trek, sorry. And you got some socks, which was nice, an air freshener maybe, but I don't own a car anymore. A badge, which is handy because I've got a bag. And then a sticker, and I'm like, what am I going to do with that sticker? Oh, and you get a t-shirt. T-shirts are always good. So, however, because I've just recently moved into this place that I'm going to be here permanently, odd little figures, if they're nice figures, I can paint them up, stick them on the shelf, and they're decoration. So with that in mind, I said, okay, fine, I'm prepared to give the Heroines box a trial. you know, I've now had the main asset box for 3 months, and I'm prepared to do that one long term. This one, as far as I'm concerned, is purely a trial. So I have absolutely no idea what to expect from this. I hope I get Sweeties, and I do think Donald Trump's wig is amusing. But let's have a look. So, first thing that I see is Great Heroines Jasmine. Now, let's have a look. Oh, we've got some paints, and we've got some we've got some bases, and we've got some Forest Gator. So it's not, assuming this is the booklet. I mean, I'm gonna have a peek. Okay, I just had a peek sneak just purely to see if there was a booklet or anything, because obviously the format that I'm used to is items and a booklet. Obviously you don't need a booklet on things like a miniature. So let's have a look. So in fact I'll do this. Right, this is made with, it says premium resin. I don't know if that's a brand name or if it's like what it's made of. So Jasmine is designed with inspiration from the ancient Persian Empire, hence her distinctive harem style pants, okay, which are thought to have originated in Persia over 2,000 years ago. She's carrying 2 curved blades likely to be shamsha. So this is a bit of an ancient Egyptian influence. So I'm hooked there because I guess there's freedom to paint different colours. I mean, she looks quite reds and browns. You know, maybe I could do blues. Maybe I'm just subliminally seeing the title and thinking I could do that in blue. So in the month's Heroines box, we've included a set of gold colours to paint the metallic sections of her armour. You get antique gold, sepia wash, new gold. Okay, so I've not looked at these obviously yet. Reaper, have I got? No, I haven't got any Reaper paints. So again, this is now a bit of a discovery box. But in any case, my Citadel Sepia is running low. Oh, warning, this needs to be thinned before you use it. I use 2 parts water to 1 part. To be honest with you, I think that's good advice with anything that you use for the first time anyway. I've only ever used the sepia wash from Citadel. And if you're using a different brand, you really don't know what concentrate it is. So it's a good idea to thin it down, say half anyway. And then if you find that its original concentrate was the same as Citadel's, then you can just apply another layer. That's fine. So right, we've got antique gold and new gold, and then we've got some scenic bases and terrain, 1 Temple of Sanctuary 40mm round base. Oh, you got a spelling mistake there. Do you lose marks for that? Just joking. We chose this base because of Jasmine's influence from the ancient Persian Empire. Many Persian temples, although plain looking from the outside, were incredibly colourful on the mosaic on the inside. Oh, so does that mean that we're going to be getting lots of tiny details to paint? So also has some extra details for the ruined temple base. These jars are known as amphora, and originated in ancient Greece. There were many ongoing wars between Persia and Greece, and the frequent blurring of the border between them. Oh, lovely. So that's nice because you're now going to be able to look at the base and then know the influence. And then we've got Forest Gator. Okay, so right, let's have a look at the box, the items. So I'm going to try and pull these out in a relevant order, which is Sweeties and Vimto. It's a good job I like these, isn't it? But this is apple. This is even better than orange. So, and a Vimto lolly. So, oh, this is just a little, this is nice. This is like a little character card. You know, in a lot of games you get, you lay your characters out and they have all their skills on them. This is the kind of what you get with it. So I'm starting to think I'm gonna display her on a shelf, and I'm gonna pop this behind her, or on, there you go, I'll put her there. What is it, 40mm base, so it'll be about that big. And then I can have this on front. So it says she comes from the range of myth explorers, the time period, the weapons, and the clothing. So this is nice. It's a nice little touch. So let's have a look at the figure. Okay. Well, it's definitely well packaged, isn't it? There we go. It's quite a small figure. Quite a lot of flash on the base, but nothing really to worry about. So I'll have a little look at her. She's had, unfortunately, her cloak's just come through. So multi-part kit. She looks a little bit small, or smaller than I'm used to. I'll see how she goes together. Oh, I don't. Very, very thin piece of the flash. That's going to need some good cleanup. I'm not going to write it off on that one because obviously it's just part and parcel of the sport that we do. But I do like the box it comes in. It's quite a basic looking box, but it's quite functional. It's a little bit harder plastic than a blister pack, and because the problem with, like, say, the GW blister packs is once you cut them open, they're always open. There's no way that's coming out of there. The only thing I would say, I mean, that's obviously made specially for Asset Drop, which is nice. That shows that Asset Drop becoming a more serious player. The only thing I worry about is if I bought this in the shops, how much of the retail price goes towards the box and how much to the figure. But you know, that's fine. So so we've got 3 Reaper paints. Now I've seen these, I've heard good things about them. I mean, you're going to hear that a lot from me, because this is why I joined the Asset Drop, is to discover new things. Sorry, bear with me. So I'll certainly give these a go. They feel quite runny. Oh, it's quite interesting. It's a thick nozzle, but it's actually a thin nozzle because of the way it tapers. So as you know, on my unboxing videos, I don't tend to to actually look at the products. I just look at, like I do literally an unboxing. But curiosity's getting the better of me on this one. They don't look metallic-y on the... Or are these non-metallic metals? I don't know. So I'll do the antique gold. This must be the antique gold. Yeah. So I'll just pop a little bit. I'm going to be really, really naughty. There we go. Oh, that's yeah, that is definitely a metallic. So it's quite shimmery. And it's quite thick. You can see it does hold on the pallet. Sorry, I do apologise. We have a train going past. It does shake the house. So just gonna get myself a bit of kitchen roll, because I'm going to dunk my finger in it. I personally think the best way to feel a paint is to quite literally feel it. That's nice. I like that. That's nice. I do like that. I mean, I don't recommend necessarily trying that at home, but it is quite wasteful. But it feels like a good quality paint. Obviously I've felt the quality now, so for this one I'll do it with a brush. What brush shall I use? Shall I use one of my brand new top of the range brushes? No, I'm going to be naughty. Right, so I'm going to get a little bit first. And I mean, obviously I'm painting this on plastic, so it's not going to... That's quite nice. And then at this one I'm going to just thin that with water a bit. See what happens. And then I'm going to just get a little bit of this is going to be way over thin because of the amount I put on, but this is too thin, but oh, that's nice. That's really nice. I like that. I think I'll enjoy using those. And again, curiosity's getting the better of me now. I'm going to have to. This sepia is they say it's thick or very heavily concentrated. So let's have a look. Oh, that is, you know, that. Tell you what that resembles. That looks about the same colour as Typhus Corrosion. And it is definitely, it says sepia wash. Look at that. That is. Have I got any Typhus Corrosion handy to hand? No, I'm sorry, I've not got any to hand. Right. So I'm just going to water that down. But I mean, look at the colour. That's definitely a dark brown. That's beautiful. Now that I'm really starting to water it down, you can see that it is the colour that I would associate with sepia. As luck would have it, I have some Citadel Sepia. So I'm just going to put one brushful on there. And look, this is undiluted Citadel Sepia. I haven't touched that, and this is one tiny drop of the Reaper Sepia with about 4 brushfuls of water in, and you can see it's still a little bit darker. So you could probably dilute that down even further. So yeah, I'm liking that. So it looks like I've got some good quality paints out of the Discovery, out of the Heroines box. So yeah, right, so what's next? Scenic base and terrain. So that's this. So we've got, it's probably difficult to see because the trouble with bases is when they're unpainted, well, saying that, there is a lot of detail in there. So what we got, a soily layer, cementy layer with some tiles on top. Now this is actually the last one. I apologise. Oh no. $40mm round base and then Forest Gator. Oh, I see. I've got confused. Yeah, this is the base. This is the base with a couple of jars, and then the forest. My bad, because they put that there. I assumed that was, yeah. I'm thinking about it. It's totally crazy. So this is the Forest Gator. I'm going to open this up because I can't really see it through here. Let me just. Oh, that's nice. That's like ground up herbs. No, it's not. Oh, it smells like tea. It does actually smell like tea. But it looks like ground up herbs. Maybe it is ground up tea. It's very irregular shapes. You've got little bits of stalk, which is exactly as you would find in the forest. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to look forward to using that. And then this is, like I say, this is the base, and they did also mention two sorry, my pronunciation is awful, but two little amphory based jars. I've got to confess, I'm gonna. Oh, I see. Yeah, they're that. They go that way up. I see them now. Or do they go that way? I don't know. I don't know. My knowledge of that period of history is well, let's just be fair and say it's non-existent. So I'm going to have to be doing some Google searching on that. And we've got 15%. Sorry if I've shown this, I apologise. We've got 15% off from Tabletop Art, and it's got a reasonable expiry date on it. Expires in June. So, and then this is a little range of their products. So I'm definitely going to give these a look. And Donald Trump's wig. So Heroines, I can only give this 9 out of 10. I cannot give it any less. I've got another brand that I've never used. Trouble is, when an asset drop going to run out of brands to try, and then what happens then? I don't know. That's the only thing I worry about. I like asset drop. I like the customer service. I like the product they give us. I just like everything about them, and I want them to do really well. So as you can see, guys, I really had fun opening that box. Unfortunately, I'm quite new to this video editing lark, and my recording software seems to cut the end off. So I've had to re-record this end. But as I say, I really enjoyed that unboxing. I thought it was absolutely amazing this month. I couldn't have pieced that together myself any better. It's full of good quality products. It's full of products that I personally would like to try, and I suspect that if I want to try them, there's a high proportion of asset drop customers that would want to try them. Even when we've mastered a particular technique, we've mastered the colours that we want to use, we always want to try and strive for something better or different. For example, the leathers. The leather that Citadel make, the leather that Vallejo make, the leather that Scale 75 makes, they could be very slightly different shades. And something like leather is always quite an organic thing. The processes that go through to turn it from a living cow to a belt. So if 3 people went out and made their own piece of leather and turned it into a belt, I suspect that you would end up with 3 different results. So now I personally own 5 different methods of doing leather. So I could now use these different techniques. So Asset Drop has brought something to the table that is really useful for me. There's effects that I've not used before, effects that I want to use. I mean, it's as though Asset Drop read my mind. It's funny that I'm thinking of something Tuesday, and what Asset Drop has posted the day before I was thinking it arrives the day after, and I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I wanted. Is that because what I'm actually thinking of is things that all gamers are thinking? Maybe I'm thinking it, I think I'm on my own thinking, and in actual fact Asset Drop is tuned into what the wargamer actually wants. I sound like I'm working for Acid Drop, and for that I apologise. I'm not. I just feel that there's a product now out there that is for me, and obviously an individual product, no company can make money on that, but it's though they've made the product for a mass-produced product for the individual. That's all I can say about it. I'm going to leave the video there because obviously being a double review, it's quite long. I have a link in my description box for Acid Drop. Now I'm going to be honest with you, it is an affiliate link. That means that I gain credit every time you sign up. You click on it and sign up. I'm not doing that for a money-making project, or I'm not even doing it to get the products for free. What I'm going to do is, if you sign up through the affiliate link and gain me credits, I will use those to buy products, and then I will give those products away in form of competitions. We'll have fun with the competitions. I'm going to make you do things. It's not just a case of put your name in a hat and off you go. I'm going to make you do stuff. I'll make you leave comments. I might make you make a video. That should be fun, shouldn't it? I might get you to do some painting. Maybe we can have a bad painting competition, and the winner gets some good quality painting which to improve their painting with. That could be fun. So I strongly urge you to support Acid Drop. I feel that they've got things right. They've taken a market. They haven't come in at the beginning. For whatever reason, maybe they weren't ready, maybe they weren't able to, maybe they weren't financially able to start then, maybe they weren't even in the hobby, but they seem to have done their research. I mean, I'm waffling now, but they've gone, right, okay, the wargamer out there, sorry, I'm OCD and I've just seen a paint that's separated. I need to shake it, I'm so sorry. So yeah, maybe I mean, most of us as wargamers, we've gone into the Games Workshop stores and we've got what they have sold us, and there is nothing wrong with what they've sold us, but there's other things out there, and one of my favourite things to look back on is every time I have a discussion about Army Painter. That's a really good example of how opinions vary. I'm not a fan of Army Painter, I really am not. I've not used their paints ever, but I've used their products, and every single product, sorry I tell a lie, I've used their spray primer, but I've not used their actual bottles of paint. Now I know quite a few people that say they're the best paints in the world, and I'm on the complete opposite end of the scale and I say, oh, they're terrible. Last month they gave us watercolours. A lot of people hate them, but I love them for the same reason that people hate them, which is their transparency. They are difficult to work with at first. Maybe these people that don't like them have used them once and gone, oh, that's it, my opinion is made up of them, or my mind is made up. I wasn't getting great results the first time I used them, and I stuck with them. And I'm very proud to announce, although I'm not the best painter in the world, I have now painted a Space Marine, and Acid Drop were very, very kind enough to use that picture of that Space Marine on some of their Facebook material. Very, very proud of that. So yeah, some of these products you may not like, but try them out. Look, I've got some of my paints are put away properly, and they sit in their little storage bit, and some colours I very, very rarely use. Yellows I don't use very often. but I've got odd bits of paint everywhere, where like pots just laying here. Like here you go. There's a sepia from Citadel. That's something I'm using a lot. And look, I've got, this is one from a previous acid drop. This is one from a previous acid drop. Something else from a previous acid drop. Couple more acid drops. We've got another Citadel there. Now these are the ones that I'm using a lot. Couple of Valleos, which I didn't get from acid drop, but so I'm kind of finding my feet with the new products. But the ones that just happen to be sitting around where I've not put them away, most of them are acid drop products. I'm looking too hard now, but there we go. Look, I mean, I bought these extra, but the empty drop bottles, I absolutely love them. I'm finding that they're giving me products for everyday use, things that I want to use a lot. I mean, I'll go back to these secret weapons that I got. Now, the colours that they're actually called are tire black, rubber, and rubber highlight. But I use these for my blacks. I find that they just give a slightly off black, and it just adds a slight different dimension. They're quite cold and bluey. So yeah, I'm using them. So which means I've got to buy them again when they run out. But anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Yeah, you take care. Sorry, let me